Okay, friends, one moment, please. All right, how are you guys doing today? Am I sounding okay
Very
today?
good.
Not
Yeah, you
robotic?
sound great.
All
You
right,
sound great today. A lot better than yesterday when you started off.
nice.
GM,
I'm in Japan right now, I think. Let's see where I am. Yeah, Japan. So,
how do you not know what country you're in, Dan?
oh, I jump around. Sometimes I'm in Japan, sometimes I'm in Singapore, sometimes I'm in Germany,
Wow.
sometimes I'm in where else do I go? Those are the
Sounds like
main ones. Korea
sounds like
sometimes.
sounds fun though.
Do a
Japan's
lot of
probably really
traveling.
interesting. Yeah, you do a lot of
Great,
work though.
great internet.
Japan does.
Well, I assume so from my network connection.
They have like 5G everywhere.
Mm. Hey, have a
Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
GM. Yep,
GM, Hefe.
How's the volume coming in?
good.
VPN things. Yeah, thanks. Right on. We'll be getting started here shortly. Once Coder Dan is there, gets that his connection thing figured out. But we have some new stuff to talk about today. Some old business regarding the recipe change. Just something we have to touch on there. Got some new business regarding hard cap on wearables. That's going to be an interesting conversation. And then I believe last week we were talking about just governance in a sense of, voting power. And I think there's a thread on it here about custodial asset management and proxy. I think it was mostly around proxy voting. That was the main conversation. So we could also follow up on that as well. And then, the reservoir recipe change, Zico, that's going to be one of the first things we touch on for today. And then Rarity Farming Season 4, if we can maybe work on estimated date for that or something to work towards. Maybe if we have time, we can talk about cartridge distribution. We had a lot of talk at the summit on based on what the guilds were saying, what their outlook was. We can also take that into consideration when we're thinking about cartridges, and that's something that I feel like that's something we will implement at some point. We just want to make sure we get it right. So it's gonna take some time. And shout out to Hardcore. I did not realize you were documenting the summit so well. But you did a great job of documenting the summit. I believe you have a whole bunch of links. It's all part of the Miro board there. So if you go down, it says summit, and that was a lot of the material that was covered yesterday. So there was some stuff from Jesse. There was um, what was it? There was a thing on IP, a presentation on IP, and structuring for DAOs. That was a really valuable conversation. So for those of you who missed it, you definitely want to go back to ZombieShepherd's YouTube channel. I believe he's going to be chopping those up and putting up a few segments for you guys to look at. And then we had a presentation from Parcel. I'm hoping we get more follow up from Parcel because they were having some connectivity issues yesterday. Pretty major connectivity issues. So we weren't able to really hear from them what they're working on. So be interesting to hear what they have to say, especially regarding parent DAOs and sub DAOs, transactions taking place in between. Yeah, highlights for sure. I agree. Yeah, yesterday was an epic event. It was actually quite surprising. We held. I was curious to know how long I'd be able to hold people's attention because it's such a long event. But I think 8 hours into the summit, we almost had the majority
Wow.
of the attendees were still kicking around, including Coder Dan, who, shout out to Coder Dan, was actually, I saw him every now and then checking in throughout the night. I guess it'd be nighttime for you. So, that's some real commitment right
Yeah.
there to the summit.
Yeah, it's I didn't get to listen to
Yeah,
the
you had
whole
some
thing
really good
yet.
notes here, hardcore. I think all these little graphics you collected are going to be really useful for reference. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the chat, the GIFs, and DJ sets definitely make life easier. Yeah, we definitely wanted to bring that party vibe. And yeah, I'm hoping we get more musicians and other people who want to participate at the summit, doing cool things like that. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for getting that full upload up there. Oh yes, that was amazing. And shout out to Pixelcraft for showering us with Alchemica near the end of the event. That was crazy. That was awesome. And then the event linking to the main page. That was another pretty cool feature. I can't wait to see that being implemented for like portals where you could. I'd imagine it's kind of graphics like that where you would scroll through the different destinations where you want to go for events and whatnot. So be interesting.
You guys can hear me, right? Just want to make sure.
We can hear you.
Okay, cool.
So, how much was rained down? I was only there for like the first couple hours, and then I had to go.
Oh, there was a lot of Alchemica. You can see the picture Choina
Yeah.
posted there. That's the amount of Alchemica that was dropped around.
Wow.
And then
Very cool.
during the opening, there was an even bigger dump of Alchemica. So
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Mark for that. He
this reservoir
he had the
recipe
chat going.
change. From my understanding, oh dang, FaZe, you got 89 Alchemica from that drop. That's pretty impressive,
Awesome.
man. That's some real collecting. With this reservoir recipe change, I'm just reading through it right now. I know Mikey J and Notorious BTC have put together a pretty extensive document on the harvester recipes, and I think we chose recipe B, but I can't quite remember. But this is suggesting we make a change to 7K investment, breaking even around 420 days.
Yeah, so we have a
I'm
chat
just reading the
going.
messages from Coder Dan.
Can you guys hear me? You keep
Yeah, I can hear you.
maybe can Hefe not hear me?
Are you talking about
Okay.
Coder Dan?
I think he can't hear me.
Hefe, can you hear Coder Dan?
No, he's muted.
Yeah.
Oh, I've muted him from yesterday.
I was like, he kept talking over me. I'm like, he can't hear me.
Yeah, it sounded like he was just mumbling in the background, and Coder Dan's just talking away.
I'm so sorry. I actually had you muted from yesterday. I guess there was some background noise or something, and I was
Right.
relentlessly just muting people. So I don't. Yeah, I forgot to unmute you from yesterday.
Made
It's
for
all right.
good entertainment.
Yeah, mute the
Yeah.
boss. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah.
I was just saying we do have a chat going, and there's been a couple different proposals by Let's Go Bankless, basically looking at some of the ideas that they've raised, and we're getting pretty close to something that they are basically. It's Mark, Mikey J, and Notorious BTC, and then Let's Go Bankless and myself just hashing that out. And we'll once we have something to finalize with you guys, we'll put it out and everyone can look at it more. But it's a lot of number crunching at this moment. But the idea is, if the DAO is okay with it, we will just update the recipes and not require like a full SIG prop, full core prop, because we do only have 3 days left. But I think in general, they're like I said yesterday, the overall like APY and ROIs and stuff don't really change. We're just trying to skew it a little bit more towards encouraging people to level up to level 9s because it feels better to do that.
You also made a good point about glitter. That in doing so, people are most likely going to be burning a lot of this glitter supply that's being distributed over the first year, which is going to be a little bit of an excess amount compared to future years. So maybe it's going to be positive for the glitter price anyway. That's what I see with incentivizing people to get to 9s sooner if they want to spend Alchemica.
Yeah,
But I think
exactly.
you also made a good point there where you said you're always kind of sacrificing some ROI for speed. So that is, I guess that trade-off will still be there, right?
So the trade-off really, I was as we were going over it in the chat here with them, I kind of elaborated on what the so there's a lot of different strategies, and with this reservoir change, I think it actually is going to open up a couple different other like micro strategies as well. So that's going to be interesting. But really, if you're aiming for the optimum strategy to maximize your ROI, you're really your strategy is basically it's a high risk strategy because you're risking a lot of capital up front. It's kind of like you go and you buy a bunch of ASICs for mining Bitcoin or something. Like, you have a high upfront cost, and if Bitcoin goes down, you're gonna get wrecked. Like, that's basically the similar strategy to that. So you're you're doing a lot upfront. You're like, you have your spacious, you do your glitter upfront, or you might not do glitter, but you go for the level 9s as fast as possible. So you have high risk, you have high ROI, because you're going to be just getting like a higher ROI because you're able to maximize your spillover. You're going to minimize your spillover. So you're getting more Alchemica for yourself because of those investments. And then finally, the clearing time of the parcel is also going to be maximized. Like, you're gonna try to basically speed clear that parcel. Whereas like the other end of the spectrum is kind of a low risk. You might go one installation at a time, or very, very slow, but it's got a very high clearing time. And it also has kind of a quicker break-even period, I guess. Like, you could buy something and then within maybe a couple months, you've basically broken even. Whereas with the other strategies, you have a slightly higher break-even point. So there's definitely a lot of thinking involved, and room for different strategies that people can. Once the numbers are totally final, on the 20th, it'll be really fun to start seeing what kind of strategies people adopt.
There'll probably be a very big spike in Alchemica again as well. I noticed that there's already been a slight spike since you've shut everything down and released some of this new alpha, so. Were you able to hear me?
Yeah. I'm just reading Mikey J's comment. More APE equals potentially higher APY. And yeah, so the the APY is you're gonna get it faster than if you go like the low level upgrade, the low leveler strategy, because that one you're gonna actually get a higher ROI. Well, it's like APY and ROI. I think a little bit different. I think that you actually get a higher ROI with the low leveler strategy because you're not really putting that much in, and you don't really care about how fast you're going to get it. But you're losing a lot of Alchemica and your parcel to spillover. Whereas with the higher level strategy, especially with the reservoir, your ROI in terms of exactly how much you're going to get, you're going to, I think it's going to be, I have to look at the exact numbers, but I think the ROI is lower a little bit, but the APY is higher. I might be mixing those up. It's a lot of terms we're throwing around here, but it's like
with all that said, I mean, like the Alchemica obviously is going to vary, so that might be a big component. I know Dr. Wagami had said something about that a long time ago to, try to extract, enough right away quickly in order to not catch that downturn again. But, I don't know what you think about that.
Well, again, the harvesting is only one part of the economy, and it's an important part. But it's also the most exposed to fluctuations in the price, and it's also it's like the most extractor liable area. It's not fun. It's like it's an economic game. So as we bring on more and more things that aren't economic games and they're actually fun that influence gameplay, there's going to be a lot more use cases for Alchemica than just spending Alchemica to earn more Alchemica. But it's going to provide this very interesting kind of background to the entire economy. So people will be producing the Alchemica from the ground. Channeling will become a smaller and smaller part of the overall economy pie, whereas harvesting will start becoming the means of generating the new Alchemica that will then get used for various activities within the game.
So also these people who are, they're fixated on getting the level 9s sooner, as soon as they can. Are they technically kind of banking on higher Alchemica prices in the future? Or sorry, lower Alchemica prices in the future? Because they're saying, well, the Alchemica is worth a lot more today, in my opinion. So when there's less supply, so I'm going to try and take out as much supply as I can. So I'll have the most Alchemica to upgrade my structures, to get more Alchemica. And then maybe they end up selling some of the Alchemica for a profit. Maybe they turn it into Ghost or whatever. Is that kind of the idea for someone who's going to be upgrading quickly compared to someone who's going, the low level? You say low risk, and it makes sense because you're not exposed as much to the fluctuations in Alchemica price in relation to like your initial investment, right? Because you didn't put as much in. So if the Alchemica price fluctuates in a way that it works against you, it doesn't really hurt you that much because you didn't put that much in from the start, or you're gradually upgrading your structures as you were earning Alchemica. That's kind of how I see it.
So they both have their inherent risks kind of on each side. If you wait a long time, you might wait and it might adjust and it might actually go up. But I mean, they both really have their risk considering Alchemica.
Yeah, and I think the difference here is in a typical yield farming game, the only game in town is the yield farming game. Like we've seen that in pretty much every GameFi project. Whereas what we're doing here is yield farming is a part of the game, but we're also going to have a lot of other GameFi game stuff that is actually using the Alchemica too, that's burning it or just locking it up for long periods of time. So it's if you're aiming to extract as much as possible from your parcel as quickly as possible because you want to convert it into Ghost, because you believe that Alchemica is not going to hold up over the long term, over the next year, then yeah, you would probably want to get as much in as you can right now, and then be the guy basically selling Alchemica on the market to Ghost. But if everyone tries to do that, Alchemica is going to pump like crazy. It's going to go up a lot in the meantime, because there's not that much Alchemica out there to do all that. So you'd have to actually pump the price up in order to do that.
A lot.
And which then would give you a higher, vantage point from then Alchemica. If it pumps up three times or 10 times, whatever it is right now, it's got a long way to go down. But if everyone follows the low leveler strategy, they're basically just going to be kind of chilling for the next 10 years. And Alchemica will likely be more influenced by the game side of it. So we're gonna have a mix of all different strategies. Everyone's gonna have their own. Everyone's got their own spreadsheets or ideas on how to play.
Yeah, exactly. We have some thoughtful questions from Sologeist regarding recovery of Alchemica. He has 3 questions. So the first one's regarding makers, being able to recover several installations at the same time.
What do you mean recovering?
Like recovering Alchemica. His first question is, being able to recover Alchemica. I think there was some mention where you said, in doing these adjustments, we would have to consider. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, he's talking about great battles. Sorry, I was not reading the question properly.
Okay, so I don't think that we've really talked about how the great battles or liquidators will affect specific installations yet. So a maker, as far as we know at this point, the maker is just for upgrading things. It's not for rebuilding walls or things. As the game progresses, it could gain that ability, but currently there's no canon about that at this point. In general, what we're thinking at this point, and I think this might have been in the white paper or the Bible somewhere, was certain installations like reservoirs and harvesters, the liquidators can't destroy them completely. They can disable them in terms of, well, even for the harvester, they can't really disable it because everything is happening on chain. What they can do for the reservoir, I believe this will likely happen, is they can actually plunder it to a point where if there's any Alchemica in that reservoir and the liquidator attacks it, they will be able to basically claim it instead of you. That would be one thing that they could do.
So
and then
everything won't be destroyed then? I mean,
everything is not gonna. They're not gonna destroy everything. Like, we're not gonna let that happen. That would be insane.
It costs a lot of money to rebuild.
The things that are going to be destroyed likely is walls and towers, especially towers. Those are offensive structures. I think we even mentioned that in the white paper, that towers will be destroyable by liquidators because they're attacking them.
Like if you get overrun, you think it'll like cost a bunch of money to rebuild all your defense, but that'll be over time when the next liquidator attack happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have to like spend a fortune on rebuilding. There will be some rebuilding, but we're not gonna completely destroy everything because of the liquidators. Like they're primarily meant to attack Aavegotchis and things that attack them. They're not. They don't really care about.
Will I be able to sit on my property and like kill all the liquidators trying to come through? Like, will that be a thing? Like, will I be able to recruit an army to protect my property?
Yeah. I
mean, that's going to be a thing, right?
You'll definitely be able to get friends around your parcel, especially if you're at an area where the liquidators are going to be streaming in, like near the walls of the citadel and the entrances. those will be kind of key places. Once they've breached those, it's basically a beeline to the Great Portal.
Okay, so they're just kind of, they're not gonna, you don't think they're gonna be worried about the stuff around and attacking everything and getting all that money? Why would they be just going for the Great Portal?
Yeah, they might, well, because they know that the Great Portal is going to be very heavily guarded by the Gotchi gang, so they might they might fan out and they might go start looking around for other people's, to see if there's any reservoirs that are full of alchemica that they can go liquidate.
So some districts might actually have like a really coordinated plan around protecting their district.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Well, the Great Portal is gonna, Mikey J makes a good point. The Great Portal is gonna have 35%
Yeah.
of all the crafting alchemica in it, so it makes sense for them to go and attack that instead of, going for
Yeah, so
small things.
Well, then all
basically
the
how we've envisioned it working is if you guys have ever played like a tower defense game, there's always like this area that all the enemies are trying to get into, and every time one of them enters, you lose a life. So instead of that, it's going to be every time a liquidator makes it into the Great Portal, we're going to send them alchemica from the Great Portal directly to their wallet. So
pretty cool.
they're
But then
basically
again, all the districts that are around the Great Portal are going to want to like work together as well to kind of defend that. Like, I mean, all the districts
Mhm.
together, because that's like the DAO's money, right?
Yeah. There's I mean, it's going to be very interesting to try and balance that. But we'll try. We'll see what happens with Great Battle 1. It's most likely, I would guess, that Gotchi Gang's probably going to win in Great Battle 1. And we're going to see what kind of fight we put up, because the liquidators are not, there's like 9 great battles, so they're going to be sending their worst soldiers in the first battle. Yeah, I don't think it'll be much of a
Will there
challenge.
will there be a couple like testnet great battles or?
Yeah, maybe. It would be hard to really simulate it because the liquidators probably aren't going to do much on testnet.
Yeah, still be fun though.
Could incentivize testnet, yeah.
Yeah.
So just wanted to touch on the reservoir recipe change and kind of make sure we're all on the same page with that. I think if everybody is okay with that, and this change makes sense, then we don't have very much time to start voting on this or pushing it through unless there's some really strong opposing views. But I think there's a lot of thought that's already been put into like this model, and this is just making a little change to the model, basically, is what it looks like. But
So it's basically
we're
just
not
making it easier to get to level 9. I really haven't had a chance to look at it. So that's not
pretty
a bad thing.
much.
That
Yeah,
actually helps the entire game structure, burn more alchemica, incentivize people to spend more and build more. So I mean that's a great thing all the way around, right?
yeah. The overall sync, I believe, has gone up somewhat. I would need them to confirm that, but the ROIs pretty much stay the same or have gone up. So you're spending more, but you're also getting more out because of the spillover.
yeah,
That you're getting extra spillover.
right. You're not losing that.
But you might need to build. Before, in the previous one, uh, there was no reason to have like multiple level 9 reservoirs, whereas in this new recipe, the costs have gone down significantly, but the capacity has also gone down. So you might need to have 2 reservoirs, like maybe a level 9 and maybe like a level.
2 level 6s or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I know that a while back we had talked with like Dr. Wagami about how he was saying like in the beginning only having multiple, level 2 or level 3s would be the most optimal way to make the play. And with all this adjusting, I'm sure everybody's constantly trying to adjust too, right? So, I think that makes for a big adjustment in the business aspect of what they were talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, if we can come to agreement to make this recipe change, if you do have a strong opinion opposing this change before we roll out harvesters, you can mention it here in the chat, or you can post on the forum. But I think we should keep it moving. I'd like to see harvesters out. When you guys have projected for that date, I believe it's the 20th. So it's like not very far from now at all.
Yeah.
But we're all really excited for it. So, any small changes you guys see fit that you think would be good for the game, or, we put a lot of thought and conversation around into this discussion. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna be so happy when this is kind of behind us. It's taken up so much of everyone's time. It's the DAO, our time, my time, development time. This is a big release.
Yeah.
And this thing it's gonna be lasting for a long, long time. So we do want to get it right.
I'm glad we took a cautious approach to, really being thoughtful in how we were gonna approach this, with harvesters being launched. So it's gonna be exciting. I think it's gonna be a hit. Like just like every other installation that the altars that we've been messing around with. This is gonna be a whole nother level of gameplay now. So yeah, really excited for that. Um, you guys in the chat, you guys have anything else? Last comments on reservoir recipe change before harvesters roll out? Reservoirs roll out.
Yeah, and I think we'll have a recipe. I think Mike J is running a simulator on it right now, but we should be able to share the recipe in the DAO channel like by tomorrow.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, right on. So then we'll move on to well, there's a couple more old business stuff that we can just quickly touch on, but the new business is something we can also get to there. Um, when rarity farming season 4, do we have an approximate date, or are we thinking like probably next month sometime? Like what are you thinking for timeline for rarity farming?
I think the blocker right now is we're designing the badges for it. That takes a little bit of time to do that. There's a bunch of other design work that we got going on, but we are trying to get that out and make an announcement for it. Like basically the end of this month, it would start. So probably like on a 28, 29 in that area.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, we do want to do it in July. There's no real big blockers, just we want to have the graphics ready for like the announcement.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Then the cartridge distribution. Just a little question here. We had the summit yesterday. I saw you tuning in. Was it interesting to hear kind of what all the guilds had to say? It seems like the cartridge distribution model is going to be, something that's going to be widely used and accepted. But we just need to hammer out all the details. And well, actually, we do have a lot of the details hammered out. But
Yeah, I just full disclosure, I was connected to the voice chat, but it was like on my phone, I think. So, or actually, I'm not really sure what happened, but I wasn't really listening. Like it was in the middle of the night for me, so I was
we
pretty
figured.
fast asleep. But I'm gonna once the recording is out, I'm gonna have a listen for sure.
Yeah, right on. Okay.
Yeah, it was. I woke up this morning. I'm like, oh, my voice is still connected for some reason.
Everybody thought you were just a super based, like dedicated dev staying up throughout the night. But yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So the cartridge distribution, you did mention a point on there that you've been thinking about in regards to one cartridge per gotchi might actually work with a specific model, right?
Yeah. So the model, basically, the problem we have is if we give out a bunch of cartridges at the beginning, and we also have high inflation rate on the console generating more cartridges. I'm just worried we're going to spin out of control too quickly and basically have like 20, 30,000 new cartridges coming on every month, which is going to just open us up to more bot vectors. So the idea would be we can give out one cartridge per Gotchi, like a lot of people want, but the console would only start printing new cartridges until once it reaches level 2. So a level 1 console would basically just give you the discount. It wouldn't really do much else. It would be a link on chain. It would, so you could see who we could all see who you gave the cartridges to, which would be kind of cool. But that you wouldn't actually start printing new cartridges until you've leveled up your console to level 2. So
Yeah.
that I anticipate we would probably be giving around 5,000 consoles out. I mean that could be too many. We could probably cut that down some. But looking at the amount of active owners of Gotchis and Realm parcels, it's about 5,000. And so if we give out 5,000 consoles, I would not expect all 5,000 of those consoles to be leveled up. So we'd probably be looking at like a couple, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 cartridges per month, which is much more like it's a better lower inflation rate than potentially having 5,000 or 10,000 every month at the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. We got to be careful with that for sure, because then it just won't work, right? If there's just too many.
Yeah, then we have to basically limit it somehow retroactively.
Yeah.
So it's we want to err on the side of let's be a little bit more conservative with it at the beginning, while also ensuring that those who have gotchis and they want to give out cartridges to friends, they should have enough cartridges to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. We'll I know you guys are working on a ton of stuff right now. We decided as a DAO, I guess, to turn the spillover off right now in the meantime. So we can keep kind of, touching on this conversation as you guys are like developing the cartridge model. So but I know there's a lot going on that you guys are working on right now too.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. Again, this one's touching on the summit, so I'm gonna maybe wait for that one for next week till you've had a chance. I know ZombieShepherd's gonna be chopping up some segments and creating some more bite-size pieces of content, because the whole thing, I think the whole stream, I don't know how long it was, but I know the event was almost 8 hours, so it's pretty crazy. The Gotchi gang had an 8-hour event. Six-ish hours, yeah. That's right.
That's epic.
It's pretty epic.
So I love I was just watching the other side trailer thing they did. We had a 6-hour Guild Summit marathon. They had a monkey dance in their other side. It was kind of funny to draw the comparisons.
Yeah. It's just the depth, like we have culture, I think, that's developed here, and it felt there was an energy there at the summit yesterday that I haven't felt
That's
anywhere
awesome.
else. So it was very special, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these summits. We'll be doing them every 3 to 4 months, but we also want to do like an artist summit. We want to make sure that the artists have their own space as well, so we'll be planning something for that in the future. Yeah. So yeah, moving on to the last point for old business, DAO and Gotchiverse toolset, SDK, and standard software suite. So I guess this is just referring into the SDK development. Do you want to touch on SDK development for a bit? Just general ideas of what you guys have been working on with the SDK, kind of how you guys are thinking about the SDK in general, would be good.
Yeah, it's been on the back burner a little bit the last couple weeks, just because we're all working on the farming release a lot. But the general idea of the SDK is that there's kind of two main things that we would have. They kind of link together, but they're kind of separate. So one would be scriptable actions on your parcel that you could basically code and have your parcel react to stuff that people are doing on the parcel. So very simple example would be when someone walks onto your parcel, it could play music, it could do something. It could maybe make an animation with all your decorations. It could play it could show like a message to them. That's called a trigger. So we would have lots of different triggers. We would have entering, exiting. When someone they could pick up something on the parcel, that would be a trigger. They'd be like different triggers. We'd have to basically map out all the different actions that you could do on a parcel, and those could all become triggers that could then do something. And there'd be different actions for that. So, for example, when someone runs into an Alchemica on your parcel, there could be something that happens there. Like when someone collides with someone else on a parcel, there could be something. There could be, you could have a ball on your parcel. When someone collides with it, they pick it up. That when they put it down in a special zone, that could count as like a point. So basically, I mean, imagine Warcraft 3 or like moddable kind of scripting actions that you could do on your parcel to kind of give it more life and give it more options for extensibility. That would be the kind of the first thing. The other thing would be smart objects. This is kind of what we talked about more in the original light paper. So you'd have things that can link up to APIs or smart contracts that are outside of the game. So you could have you could code an NPC with some language. You could code something to show your health factor on Aave. You could code something to actually interface with Aave and do something on your parcel. You could code basically interactions that you want to have with that object, or that object could be something that it could be a 3D model that you've created, and that 3D model could react to different states on those APIs or on the parcel. So those are the two kind of main two categories there. But the overall idea is we want to have, with the scriptable parcel, this is basically what you would use to create like a little mini game on your parcel. Like if you want to have soccer or some sort of like game where Alchemica is dropped under a certain situation, people could play a game on your parcel. That would be using the scripting. And then if you wanted to create like some cool 3D object that could react to stuff in the game, that would be the smart object that changes based on different states. And that's very, very high level, and we still have a lot of brainstorming to do on it, and exactly like how to come at it from a wide enough angle that it's going to allow a lot of creativity. But those are the two general categories.
It gets people thinking about what they could possibly do. Like you also mentioned, being able to write a script, that interacts with, could possibly interact with like on-chain events. And then having that being somehow either displayed on your parcel, or having, an NPC that's like, telling everybody you got wrecked because your health factor is like below a certain level. I think that would be kind of funny. But yeah, there's a bunch of ideas there for sure. So it'd be interesting to hear more, as you guys are developing the SDK.
Yeah, and like always, if you have any ideas, feel free to dump them into the FDK wishlist channel, which it's a thread, which we're still keeping that going. So,
yeah.
I mean, the SDK is a big undertaking. It's taken like Decentraland 2-3 years to do theirs. So obviously we want to be quicker than that, but it's a big undertaking. Lots of engineering required to make it work. So we're still in the very early phases of that.
Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, okay. Uh, one more thing in regards to, I guess, the ATF proposal. I've been talking to those guys, seeing what they want to do. Um, Basically, they just have to resubmit their proposal, right? To get.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just reiterate that for them because they weren't sure. So they'll do that, get the proposal in, and then that pretty much wraps up any old business we had to clean up there. So we'll just touch on new business for this week. Last week we were talking about proxy voting, but this week the main business here seems to be this. Someone had mentioned in the DAO chat. There's a thread on perhaps capping, like having a percentage-based hard cap on wearables based on the total live gotchis. So this would be some sort of a, I guess, ratio that's worked out between gotchis and the amount of that specific wearable, and using that ratio to decide, is it time for a new wearable launch. This has been in conversation that comes up every now and then. Or has come up every now and then with wearable inflation. People are concerned about that over the long term, where we could have haunt ones happening a lot, or sorry, haunts happening a lot less frequently than wearables being released. And if that gets too out of control, then we might end up with an excess supply of wearables, in relation to like how many gotchis we actually have in circulation. So that's a topic we can get into today and kind of see what people's opinions are on that. So I don't know if you can see the Miro board, Dan, but someone has created a chart there that shows, the slot, number of items, the item cap, and then they say 10,000 haunt 3, but um, I don't know. That's undecided also as a metric, so I don't know.
What does that mean? That there would be 10, like for this one, face godlike. Does that mean we need 10 new items for 10K Gotchi Haunt 3? What does
So
that mean?
basically, it's saying here, the godlike rarity. There's number of sets, 1, so it'd be 5. Um, the number percentage of gotchis based on 10,000 haunt 3s would be 0.026, and then the proposed cap is 0.04. So then that means you could create 7.76 items, but then you can only have 5 godlike. So that doesn't. Here, let's see who made this proposal. If you did make this proposal and you want to elaborate on what you're trying to put together here, come up on stage and let's get into it.
Yeah, it almost sounds like we're under the cap for godlike face items right now. If the item cap is, I guess this is per proposed cap 0.04%.
There's Notorious BTC in the house. I don't think he's here today, but he's the one who made the proposal. So yeah, they're suggesting. The thing is, I don't know if we're gonna have 10,000 haunt 3s. That's based on what the DAO votes. We might have 20,000 haunt 3s if the demand is there at the time we decide that we want to do that, because it's raising funds for the DAO too. So I mean, in my opinion, I feel like Haunt 1 was the only 10K release of gotchis. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to go from 10 to 15 back to 10. It's like, if the demand is there for more than 15, then we should think about doing another haunt. Otherwise, we just don't do it. That's kind of my opinion on it, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think we also need a KPI for calculating what is demand. Gotchi lending is one of the ways to do that, but for that to be realistic, we probably need to have spillover, and we don't want to have bots for those to both be. If those are if those have both been completed, then it should be fairly clear to see what the demand for new gotchis is.
Yeah. And I mean, going from 10 to 15 back down to 10 implies there's not that much demand for gotchis. So then we shouldn't do the haunt. You know, if there's more demand for gotchis than the last haunt, which was 15,000, then we should start talking about doing another haunt, because that's expanding the game. That's expanding the number of asset owners that can be in the game. But also, if there's only 5,000 gotchi owners or asset holders right now, or long-term asset holders, and we have 25,000 gotchis, then it doesn't seem like there's a real need to have more Aavegotchis in the short term right now. Till way down the line,
Yeah, distribution is an interesting metric. If we see long term, and this is hard to do because of the way that anyone can. It could be one person with 3 different wallets, but if you see the long term trend of the distribution going lower and lower, whereas you would see, okay, one wallet might have had 5 gotchis, now it only has 4.5 gotchis or 4 gotchis on average. That would mean that the average distribution is getting wider and wider, which is could be construed as a good thing. If
Yeah.
if it got to 1 or 2 down from 4, then either someone's creating a bunch of wallets or we have a bunch of new players.
And then also, if we're thinking about use cases for wearables, right now use case for wearables is primarily rarity farming, and makes your gotchi look cool. And in the future, we're going to see utility for wearables in battle. But also, I think a lot of Aavegotchis are just never going to be used in battle. BRS is kind of low, not the best traits. There might just be farmer gotchis. So it's not like every Aavegotchi needs to be decked out for battle either. So it's not like there's going to be a huge increase in demand even when we have the arena, because some Aavegotchis, it'll be interesting to see how many Aavegotchis participate in battle, like what percentage. Unless we have like classes, if we have like weight classes for gotchis, and we have like a 300 class, a 400 class, a 500 class. If we have something like that, maybe you can make things interesting. But if it's just like any Aavegotchi goes into the ring and fights another Aavegotchi, then maybe some of the lower Aavegotchis might not even need.
Yeah.
There might not even be that excess demand for legendaries, mythicals, and godlikes. It's just
I think we'll definitely need weight classes. Like,
yeah,
maybe it could be based on BRS and level. Those would be the main 2 kind of classes. Yeah, BRS would be very possible, and then level. If you can't put you could, but the odds would probably be against them. Of like a 590 BRS versus that's a level 50, and a 590 BRS that's level 10 could be interesting. But you might want to have also different rankings based on the level as well.
yeah. And actually, that's a good point, because the level is going to be the gotchis with those high XP levels are going to get their day in the sun once the battle gets fully rolled out. But the way you guys are thinking about the battle mechanics, like the traits are going to be modifiable, right? The 4 traits are going to be modifiable with like in-game points, basically, for your traits, aside from your like regular Aavegotchi traits, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's 3 points per level.
3
Those
points
are
per
kind of
XP level.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be interesting, because if you have a high XP gotchi and it's not as favorable for battle, you might actually be able to make a difference by adding like, I have a level 8 Aavegotchi, so what is that? That's like 24 points I think I can add to my traits. So that's going to make a big difference for these high XP gotchis versus the ones that maybe they don't have as much. They might not be able to modify their traits as much either. So interesting. We talked about this yesterday during the summit when we were talking with the Wearables task force. They were saying, they're a lot like a focus group. These are the sorts of things that they look at and provide feedback on to Pixelcraft. So I think this should be like a continued analysis on wearables and create some sort of a framework for assessing. Maybe this is something the WTF can put together is kind of a framework for assessing, at what point do we need more wearables, and creating some sort of a model. If they're able to create some sort of a model to assess, okay, is the wearable ratio like way off right now? Because we're not going to have that pressure from friends anymore if we're going to be transitioning over to glitter. So there's not going to be so much of a pressure from this inflationary points system, where every couple months we have to do something to clean up those points. Otherwise, they just keep stacking, and then the drop ticket prices get affected. So it might be a good time to start looking at this as a model, because we'll have to decide on our own as a DAO when it's the right time to do it. Because we also don't want to make the wearables too scarce either, where it's really hard to get even a common wearable under 100 Ghost. Like that's not going to be it's not going to be very attainable for people. Maybe some common wearables that are very OP or weapons or something, maybe they'll have a greater value baked in. But then you still want to make sure you have some wearables. Someone new to Aavegotchi can buy an Aavegotchi and then go to the bazaar and get a wearable for like a reasonable price. We want to make sure that at least there's some availability, but also not that a common wearable floor is like 100 or 200 Ghost. That might be a little bit unobtainable for a lot of people coming in.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be careful with that line of thought, because as we've all had many discussions over, if we think like with that mentality, I mean, I'm partially for that, but also we do want to have, it's an NFT game, so scarcity is the lifeblood of NFTs.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't want to dilute anybody either. That's for sure.
But there's got to be, maybe there's a way to have like, the way I kind of think of these wearables is kind of like, they're kind of like OG wearables in terms of, for example, the godlike. These current godlikes that we have, they don't have any level requirements on them. And there's actually, we could add level requirements to them, which we didn't, but we could. So for example, we could say, we're going to put out a new godlike weapon, but you have to be level 40 to equip it. So that godlike, it would still be a godlike, but its market value probably would be lower because fewer gotchis would be able to use it. So that might be one way to introduce a new kind of class of wearables without diluting the previous OG types. And they would be cheaper because only a certain subgroup of gotchis can use them. But and maybe they're weaker as well, like, so to really give a differentiator between the OG ones. Yeah, and the current and the new ones.
It's like rare Pepes. Like you have the original rare Pepes, and then you have the fake rares. It's like the fake rares are still pretty dope. Like people, well-known artists make them, and the rare Pepes are discontinued. They're the OGs. They're the original collectible, card of the series. But then they have like these new series called the fake rares, and that's like these well-known artists. They're still very like cool collectible things. But then those OG fake rares are also, they're treasured.
Yeah. So yeah, this one, if we did that, it would be, we have to think about all the implications. But as fact that it would make unlocked godlikes or OG godlikes way more overpowered because any gotchi can use them. So they would be able to maintain their price compared to new wave of wearables that are level gated. So possibly one way forward if we want to be careful about maintaining the scarcity and the OG-ness of current wearables while also introducing new ones.
Yeah. Also with the godlikes though, if you're like not very strategic of a player, like, you know, I think the godlikes will drain a lot of your AP too, right? When we talked about like the battle mechanics. If you swing like a black portal mage axe, maybe it'll drain like half your AP, so you swing it twice. But maybe one shot will kill a Gotchi. So if you're
Right.
not, you know, if your shots are not well placed, then you're gonna be like sitting around waiting for your AP to recharge, and that might be the other Gotchi's opportunity to actually, you know, get some attacks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just people. I'm just reading the comments here. People talking about the floor price or in Gotchis. Yeah.
So yeah, I think does the W2F want to apply for a grant or something to make a more comprehensive proposal?
I think
Like
they should. I know yesterday we had Coolness and Phantasma talk about the wearable task force, and it was a good discussion around what they feel their purpose is, you know, their goals and objectives. So this kind of fits in with that. You know, if they want to develop a model on assessing when we should be doing another wearable auction or raffle, then that's definitely right up their alley, in my opinion. Especially if we're not going to have that pressure from friends deciding when we should be doing these.
Yeah. That's more of like an old business topic, but it's has there been any more discussion on glitter versus friends and how to go forward with that on the DAO side?
Let me pull up there was a post on it. I mean, the sentiment around that last conversation we had was pretty good, leaning towards, you know, moving away from the the friends. The one concern is we have a lot of whales that are single side staking ghost, um, you know, through the whole bull market, and in their opinion, you know, they got comfy with it because it was a low risk, you know, thing where you can win tons of prizes, and it was just very much a win-win for them. And you know, with those drop tickets now taking a dive, and we haven't been doing any auctions or anything, maybe it's a good time to start transitioning over to, hey, look at this shiny thing over here, glitter. You might want to look at that because um, you know, friends might look less appealing now at this point. I'm just reading some comments in the forum here. Here's the post. Plug it for you guys. Oh yeah, you got it there. Yeah.
Yeah, once we are finished with this farming release, we can devote a little bit of dev time to preparing, looking at what the different contract changes would need to be. I don't think they will be very significant. Basically, just adding the ability. We need a conversion rate for glitter into into raffle tickets. That's the main.
Yeah.
That's the main like addition to the contracts that we would have to add in.
And then, I mean, if people are going to be able to mint tickets with glitter, would those be sold in the bazaar? And you know, I guess it'd be interesting to see what those ticket prices would be. But the
Yeah.
glitter,
So there's two ways to go with that. One
yeah,
could be yes, we can sell them in the bazaar. We continue the ticket market. The other way would be the staking contract now acts as an AMM, and you can buy and sell tickets. You can convert your glitter into tickets, You can convert tickets back into glitter, but there's a surcharge on it to just kind of prevent people from going back and forth whenever they want. So that would be also one way. You wouldn't really see anyone minting tickets until there's a raffle announced and they're getting ready to do it. We could potentially have like a bonding curve scenario. I don't really. I guess then you would have people minting them early, and then trying to flip them on the bazaar later. I think the effect would really be the same.
Reading a comment from Ghosty Fever here.
Because glitter is already liquid. Like you don't really need a market to sell glitter. Liquidity is not super great, but it's probably better than the liquidity on the ticket market right now.
Better than tickets, I was going to say, yeah. Because you have to sometimes play that game of lowering the price more than you'd be willing to just to get your tickets sold because there's so many being brought onto the market. Ghosty Fever says, the reason we should remove tickets is because it creates an expectation to hold raffles, like we were saying. We would need to keep shuffling more raffles as we go, or ticket prices keep dropping. We cannot, because we'll be getting more Frens stakers over time as well. We cannot provide that promise as there needs to be a demand for the underlying asset that's being raffled out first. Otherwise, it's just the NFT holders suffering in the long term, and people will stay away from investing into the NFT. It might be different if we make the raffle tickets untradeable and only a reward for stakers. At least you will not feel rugged by ticket prices dropping in value, as they'd be a free token only. I personally prefer moving to glitter, as I do not see many raffles in the near future as long as market conditions stay the way they are. So that's his. I think that's that I kind of echo that what he's saying there. I don't know if the raffle ticket should be tradable. Like, you just stake it and then that's your reward. You put it into the raffle and you earn. At the same time, though, I guess there's people that like to accumulate the tickets and play the game of increasing the odds the most in their favor. But if you made them untradeable, then basically your winning percentage for the raffle would be directly correlated to how much you're staking, which would be your somewhat of your investment into the ecosystem. So basically, the more you've staked, the higher your chances of winning, like some items. Now, the only thing with that is, does it favor a whale staker too strongly, or is the distribution among stakers, is it distributed widely enough for the between small stakers and large stakers, enough that we can say, everybody's still going to have a great chance of winning something based on their stake. That's something we would have to talk about if we were to make the raffle tickets untradeable.
Yeah. We're just talking about what happens if we allow them to be redeemed for glitter versus not allowing them. And if we do allow them to be redeemed, we really then the staking contract would basically be the AMM. And if we don't allow them to be redeemed, the ticket market basically becomes a market for speculating on the future play. Like it's a futures market on glitter almost.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Like I'm gonna cash my glitter into this ticket today because I think there's there's a new something coming out that's gonna prop up the price of glitter. So I'm gonna be able to sell my I guess if you'd need two things. You would need one, I believe there's going to be a big event that uses a lot of glitter coming up. And two, I believe there's a raffle coming up people are going to want to invest more into the tickets. This is the only way to get them because one from now, glitter is going to be 20% higher than it is today. And there's a raffle.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting how those events also now tie in, because now you're also tying this in with upgrading your structures. So now you actually might have to be more strategic about that. If you have to buy market glitter to burn, you might want to do that not right before a raffle event, because the ticket prices are gonna be up. Therefore, the glitter prices are probably gonna be up due to demand. I don't know. There might be some more strategic thinking around that in the game, like as far as like the meta of playing the game. It can make things like pretty interesting if you have to make those decisions. Do I want to upgrade my structures right now and get more alchemica from higher level installations, or do I want to hang on to this because I know the glitter prices are going to pump before the raffle, and maybe I can even sell the glitter into something else like alchemica or ghost or whatever, and play some sort of like an arb opportunity. Yeah, I agree with Johnny. Glitter is going to go through the roof every time there's a raffle because people will just want to buy the glitter. Will there be a fixed? Do you think there'll be a fixed price for the tickets, kind of how we have now with Friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple things. DNX says AMM should smooth that up, referring to the glitter going to go to the roof. So that again, that's if we allow people to sell their glitter tickets back and redeem them for glitter. If we don't allow them to redeem them for glitter, then you're burning glitter and you're getting the ticket, which you can only sell that ticket to someone on the secondary market at that point. Basically, if you turn on the AMM, you don't need a secondary market for tickets because there's really not that much to speculate on. But if you don't have it, then you have this whole futures market on the bazaar for tickets. That could be pretty interesting. My only worry, I guess, would be people not minting tickets and therefore not entering the raffle, I guess. They might just be like, well, it's not really worth entering the raffle. These tickets are so expensive now. But so then you just have fewer people entering the raffle, and it would make the raffle, I guess, more attractive. So then people would ape in, I guess.
Yeah, that's the cycle we've seen with Friends. I'm reading a comment from Moon in that
Oh, with
forum.
Friends, we're not really with Friends because Friends are basically unlimited. Not unlimited, but there's at least the last raffle that like there's way more friends than there are than the EV of the raffle. But we might have a situation where there's actually not enough glitter for the EV of the raffle, so the price of glitter would be going up to match the EV of the raffle, the expected value. Because right now it would be interesting. Right now, raffles are basically a thing that we do to offset the friends that are being generated. Whereas maybe with a glitter model and where you can't, there's no AMM, so people want to speculate on these glitter tickets. If the value of the raffle was higher than the value of what people want to spend their glitter for, you might have a situation where the raffle actually like triggers people to buy more glitter because then they need to get the tickets because the EV of that raffle is higher than all the glitter that's currently floating.
So that sort of flexibility might be good in a situation where we allow for selling, like ticket selling, and with it, with glitter.
Yeah, my only other worry is this is more of a long-term thing, but if we introduce too much burning for glitter, somewhere 5-10 years down the line, there's going to be no more glitter left.
It'll be a
Good
glitter
problem to
have. That's when the small bags finally have their day because he found,
Yeah.
a million glitter in his wallet, and
But
so
then people in the future would be looking at the rest at the the craft times. I'd be like, are you out of your guys' mind? Like, this is like 1.7 million blocks. It's ridiculous. I'm not gonna pay for this upgrade. It's gonna cost 1.7 million blocks. So, I guess we'll worry about that in 10 years, huh?
We could put it into the lore somewhere. There was a deep vein of glitter found under the Gotchiverse 10 years from now. Just happened to have another trillion glitter in there, so. But I think with the this raffle, Moon has a good point. I think this would be an ideal solution to implement after the last raffle. So, whether it's realm or decorations, so people get a chance to use up all their unspent tickets and friends. Just got to make it clear that the ticket market will basically be closed after, so no one can cry foul. And this kind of gave me an idea. Maybe these raffle tickets actually have to take their final form. If we're gonna leave the friends tickets behind, they have to take their final form as a ticket wearable. And maybe we have common to godlike hand wearables for these tickets. A gotchi can hold the OG friends ticket in its hand. But maybe we have some more like fun little kind of going with the theme of we're closing this out kind of raffle, along with maybe the land raffle, make it like an epic event, even maybe a little decorations or whatever, everybody can win. And that's it, that's it for friends. And, then at that point we could deprecate it and move it towards glitter. Or alternatively, there was another suggestion I believe you had brought up where we would adjust the rewards for friends over time so that the friends staking becomes a lot less attractive compared to glitter staking.
Yeah,
And we
my worry right now is we don't have enough ammo in a raffle to soak up all the friends in one raffle. So what we really should do is start phasing friends out, and and then we could have the raffle tickets essentially just be convertible either with friends or with glitter. So there would be some arbing happening between the two. And eventually, in a couple years, there won't be any friends left because people have already used them all, or maybe it's just not worth using them. But most likely they've used them all. So it's not something we can. I don't think it's feasible to have like a raffle, a blowout raffle at this point, because the market is just overall, like the macro market is too depressed at this point to really have a huge EV raffle. So yeah, my vote would be, let's do something that starts cutting down the rate of friends emissions, and maybe it starts off, we cut it by 20%, and then every month it goes down 5% or something, and then eventually there's no friends rewards anymore for Ghost, and everyone has moved to glitter.
that would be the friendlier way to do it. Very gradual transition over, and then nobody's really getting hurt. There'll be plenty of time for them to move over.
Yep. And we can, along the way, I mean, we can continue to do raffles. It's just the guys that have friends will use their friends. The guys that have glitter will use glitter.
Do we know how much Ghost has been kind of locked up in glitter staking versus friends staking right now?
Good question. There's some dashboards. Do you guys know? Is it like DBank, or which dashboard shows the value of glitter? I know there's a couple out there. There's that really nice glitter that board someone made.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for that.
Talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Dune? Dune
Yeah,
Analytics?
it's a Dune. It's a Dune board.
Dune Analytics, yeah. I see Dune Analytics. So the glitter market cap 1,193 glitter holders, glitter supply.
Sean Graham. He's in the chat. Nice board. So glitter market cap, glitter holders, glitter supply. Does it? I don't know if it shows the staking though. Let's see. Who is spending glitter? That's pretty nice.
Oh, it does show the staking pools, the glitter staking pools. It shows how much Ghost has been locked up in the pool. So
yeah, great. So Ghost FUD.
Yeah.
Staking value of 400,000. So that means there's 400,000 of liquidity in that pool, equivalent to 151,000 Ghost. Very nice. Ghost FOMO. Okay, doesn't. I don't see
FOMO
info
doesn't
for
say
that
it.
one. Yeah. Huh. Okay.
It doesn't look like it's fully built out yet, so maybe it's a work in progress.
Yeah, if anyone wants to give this guy a grant, or if he's on the call, he should apply for a little Dune Analytics grant. Those are we paid someone for a grant a while back for a board. Yeah, I don't know if they did it, but they didn't really maintain it very well, so it's kind of wasted. But yeah, Dune Analytics boards are great.
Mikey J also posted an image there. Where is that? Is that CoinGecko? I'm not sure where that is. Or QuickSwap. I think it's QuickSwap he's looking at. I can't see the columns because I'm trying to look at the numbers there. I think that 250K, 110K, or no, I'm not sure what I'm looking at here.
What's that one all the way on the right? Is that FTV?
On the far right. FDV. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Transaction price. Liquidity. So Ghost. So 400,000 for the Ghost FUD, 450K for Ghost FOMO, 310K for Ghost Alpha, and 330K for Ghost Keck. So so that's, what is that? 850. So it's like 1 point, if I was to take a very rough estimate, like maybe 1.5, almost 1.5 million staked in that's liquidity, right? So that's taking into account both the pairs together, or is that just the
so divide it by 2? You have to divide the liquidity by 2. I mean, definitely the Alchemica pairs in terms of liquidity are still far inferior to Ghost USDC, and then far inferior to how much Ghost is single staking. I think the single staking Ghost will likely just move over to WAP Ghost, but WAP Ghost is currently only 5% of the rewards. So if we want to get more of those guys to move over, we would need to increase that, because it's not like Frens where it's unlimited. It's that 5% is limited. So the more funds come, the more it gets diluted. So the worry would be, if we move over to Frens, we move from Frens to Glitter, that the single staking those guys would be like, you know what, I don't really want to do that. I just want to have single staking Ghost, and WAP Ghost maybe isn't that attractive. So you know what, I'm just gonna sell my Ghost.
Yeah, and that's the concern there with so much ghost out there outside of these pools. We want to make sure if we're going to do that, you know, the transition, we want to do our best to try and get these people over to this pool and show them why this is attractive to do. So
I mean, there's one part. Well, part of the attractive part would be glitter might go up in price, which would then basically the more glitter goes up, the more value is generated every day in terms of Ghost or USD from the rewards. So if glitter is like if glitter, let's just say glitter is $1, right? And we're generating like how many millions of glitter every day? We'd be generating all that money in real value. Right now, it's obviously not $1. It's like 0.00004. So whatever the current daily emission is, that's how much value is being generated, and that's approximately how much value people will want to stake into the pools.
yeah. So I think the big point here that we need to basically just figure out is what are we going to be doing in terms of getting that transition over? Like, how are we going to get these people over to glitter? Are we going to be doing? It sounds like doing a big raffle and burning a bunch of friends up is not going to be the answer, just because we have like way too many in circulation to do that, I guess. But maybe a better solution would be to um, incentivize people to move over in terms of their return. You can get a way better return over here with glitter if you were to, you know, do what you were doing and either, you know, you're minting tickets and selling them like you were before, strategically, or you're just selling the glitter as a return on your ghost. Because that's ultimately maybe what those single stakers, that's the reason why they have it in this pool currently, is they're earning an APY on their ghost. So they would still be able to do that. Doing that with glitter, I just wonder if it has any negative impact on glitter itself. I guess the only one would be maybe the long term in, you know, 10 years issue, but short term, do you see anything bad that could come out of that? You know, someone, let's say I have a couple, you know, couple $1 million worth of ghosts single staking, and I've just been selling my tickets off and earning the APY. But now I can't do that. I have to stake it for glitter. So, I mean, I'm most likely to maybe then just stake the ghost and then sell the glitter. Is that going to be, do you see that being bad in any way?
Just to respond to a point here, I do want to maybe reiterate. So when we think of the rewards that someone's getting for single staking, there's like 14, maybe 10 to 15 million ghosts that are single staking right now. So if we start removing that, or let's just say we completely removed it today, and all those guys moved over to single staking Black Ghost. Let me pull up the dashboard here. Black Ghost is currently earning 360 glitter per block. Okay, so we do a little bit of math. 360 times price of glitter. That's about 0.016 USD per day. We multiply that. Let's multiply that by 43,200 for a daily rate. So we're generating about 709 USD every day from the WAPGO's pool. So I don't know what the current rate of, like, how many rated from single staking and the value of that. We could calculate that. If anyone knows exactly how many single staking ghosts there are, we could calculate that times the floor price of a drop ticket and kind of compare those. I can pull that up in a second here.
Yeah. I mean, Gotchinomics, he has a question there. Why do we want big single staking whales in the first place? Wouldn't that be as bad as bot issue? They'd be using the people with skin in the game as exit liquidity. I don't know. In my opinion, having a lot of big stakers is also probably good for the price of Ghost if you have a lot of Ghost holders. But if you remove that, maybe there's a possibility where they just sell their Ghost, and maybe that's negative for the ecosystem. Maybe that's bad for the price. Maybe some of these potential whales who are just single staking the Ghost right now, they don't realize the value proposition of the game. But if you're invested in an ecosystem that's growing like we are, the value is only going to become apparent over time. And I mean, the hope there would be they would realize, that there is an opportunity that they're kind of missing out on by just single staking Ghost and maybe not buying land or maybe not having an Alchemica operation. In my opinion, that would be kind of the thing to consider with some of these large stakers is there's a potential for them to actually spend that Ghost in the game when they have that realization, right? We're growing, we're adding utility. There's going to be arena battles, there's going to be quests, dungeons, like this game is gonna, I feel it's gonna have its moment in the sun. And if you're already single staking a couple million Ghost, well, hey, that's not really that hard for you now to go into the bazaar, unstake your Ghost, go in the bazaar, and buy a couple gotchis, portals. Making that switch is not that hard when you've been rewarded by the token for so long. To spend that now in the ecosystem and get an even better return doing something else. So I think that would be one perspective to take. But I also see, your way of it as well. There are definitely some single stakers will just be doing that just because they like that yield for the tickets, and that's it.
Almost got the numbers here.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so assuming, of course, that there's perfect liquidity, the WAP Ghost daily reward is 710 USD for 5% of the staking, and the Ghost single staking daily reward currently, I'm looking at the Aavegotchi stats floor price for a common ticket, which is 0.000280 ghosts per friend. So this is actually, sorry, that's probably a ghost actually. So okay, so WAP Ghost is about 710 USD per day, and there's currently 8.6 million ghosts doing single staking, which is actually down quite a bit from what it was before. And which is, I believe, it's about 2,430 ghosts per day. So roughly about 3,200 USD. So it's about one quarter. And so glitter rewards are about one quarter of what they are. Again, assuming perfect liquidity for common tickets, which isn't actually true. So I wouldn't say they're on parity, but I would say the discrepancy isn't really that big. So there could be guys that are, especially if the price of glitter went up, it would make it more attractive for some of these guys to move over and not sell their ghost.
Sorry, you were saying there if you were to increase the rewards in terms of glitter per block, or
No, we can't increase. Well, we could increase the rewards for WAP Ghost.
yeah.
Currently, it's 360 per block. We could increase it more. We could make it 720 or whatever. I'm saying if the price of glitter went up, that would also it would increase the amount of daily value for these guys as well, which would then result in more people staking their ghost.
Okay, you're saying not more tokens, just higher value tokens.
The LP reward basically is going up in price, which is then going to attract more people to LP for it. So currently it's generating roughly 710 USD worth of reward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Ghost single staking is generating around 3,200 USD of reward. But to get that reward, you need to sell tickets.
That's not always ideal, right? Like what we saw with the, overproduction of Friends or tickets released into the market. The ticket prices went from like around 8 to about like 1.8 or 2 Ghost. So there's definitely a strategy. You have to be strategic around selling the tickets. And I like the fact that with glitter staking, there's always a market for it. There's always demand for it. There'll be continued demand for it as we're building out. So that is going to be another aspect to consider. Like if I was a single Ghost staker and I was using this as a, some sort of a passive strategy, then that would be a lot more appealing, right? Okay, well, I can stake this Ghost and get some glitter. We have to remember Ghost is on Aave too. So it's like we have all these people finding Ghost on Aave. The hope would be that they figure out how to stake for glitter and then from there start, digging into the game a little bit more. I think would be, if I found Ghost on Aave and I did research on it and I said, okay, well, I can actually stake this Ghost on their platform, earn some glitter, and then what can I do with glitter? Okay, I can sell the glitter. What else can I do with glitter? Okay, I can burn it to upgrade these installations. It kind of starts this trail of breadcrumbs, hopefully, if we're able to get people on Aave, finding Ghost, figuring out what it is, what it does, where you can stake it. Okay, put it in this pool here, earn these tokens, and then what can you do with these tokens? You can do all this stuff with these tokens, including mint tickets like I was before. So it's not necessarily a bad conversion. I think it'll just maybe take time and informing. I think educating and informing people on what's actually going on while we're making that transition over is also going to be like really important.
Yeah, another way I think I agree. It's good marketing to have our name out there on Aave. During this transition, if we did want to cater to the single staking whales a little bit more, like you mentioned Hefe, we could increase the percentage of rewards that temporarily that they're receiving. Right now it's 5%. The other pairs are getting 15% basically, and Ghost Matic is 5%. Ghost USDC is 15%. So if we wanted to cater to them a little bit more, offer kind of an olive branch in a way, and say, okay, we're gonna double the rewards for 6 months, and it'll be a little bit more attractive. So you can move your Ghost into this for the next 6 months. If we wanted to cater to single staking Ghosts a little bit more, which I don't think it would be a bad idea to do that. I mean, they are some may say they're lazy single stakers, but at the same time they're hitting Ghost and they're not that much they can do rewards right now. So the fact that there's still 8 million Ghost single staking is still pretty impressive, I think.
Sorry, you went a little robotic at the end there. You just try repeating that last bit there.
Just the fact that there's still 8 million Ghosts. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's still 8 million Ghosts doing single staking, and I think that's it's down from 14 million where it was before, but there's still 8.6 million Ghosts earning Frens every day. Basically, long time preference waiting for the raffle. So I think offering a slightly higher WAP Ghost reward would help incentivize those guys to move over once we start doing the conversion over to glitter.
Yeah, I
but
mean, even if some of
not
that gets
required.
moved over, yeah, not required. But even if some of that moves over, they say, hey, well, I can actually earn a little bit of a better APY, moving some of it over. So just start getting some of that ghost over to glitter, I think is the main goal.
We might also see that they just earn the glitter and dump it immediately, but that's part of the game anyway.
Yeah, and if they're dumping it, someone else is buying it because they want to burn it to upgrade their installation. So it's not like there's a flat demand for it. It's
Yep.
people are going to look at that as an opportunity if glitter's dumping, and like I would buy more because it's way cheaper to upgrade my installations now. So so long as there's demand for that, and then there's other sinks in game. You guys have been talking about possibly potions. There was a cool little clip that was dropped not long ago about it was this Gotchi sprinting away really fast. It's seen a liquidator and it runs away real fast. And makes me wonder, was that a potion? Did that Gotchi drink a potion to do that? Or was
That
that
was sprinting. That is, we
sprinting?
were kind of debuting that little feature that's probably going to be coming on next week's Hangout. We're going to have a little test of sprinting.
Oh, that's going to be... is it going to be stat based, or is it going to... Well, I guess it will be stat based because your sprinting is going to use your HP. Is that right?
Yeah, so it will be stat based, not next week because stats aren't confirmed yet. Next week we'll just be kind of playing around with it.
Cool. We should have some Gotchi races or something.
Definitely, yeah.
If you guys want to put down a checkered finish line on a road somewhere, I think that would be useful. I don't know how much work that would take, to be honest, but if it's just like putting down a checkered road or something, where we could do that on a parcel too. But yeah,
it's going to be a busy week next week, but yeah, maybe we can put something fun in.
Yeah, that would be cool. So that takes care of a lot from last week, and we also went over some ongoing conversation around Friends, which is definitely going to be the next probably big decision we have to make. Is how we're gonna be moving. Like, I think we're at a point where we can say yes. I think the majority of people want to move over to glitter. It's just about how we're gonna do it, like how we're gonna make that transition over. So um, it seems like holding a big epic raffle is not going to be the answer. It's just not going to be enough to clean up all those friends. So we'll have to think of a more like gradual strategy, to get people over into these pools. And then we just looking over the current proposals. Rarity Farming Season 4, we talked about that, end of July. Use DYST voting power to support V Chi Chi on Dystopia. I think that one did pass as well. Yes, formally vote for V Chi Chi. Okay. Is there like any update on that?
I don't really know what we need to do. So if someone wants to walk me through what we should do for that, feel free to reach out, or to Moon as well.
Yeah, that's Moon.
He's in charge of kind of partnership. So whatever we need to do for that, let us know.
Okay, so Moon needs to vote on Dystopia.
For is it like every vote? Okay, just once.
Just once. Okay.
Okay, so the wallet that has the token they sent us, basically, right?
Yeah, okay. And then the last bit there, configure voting power for AM Ghost, WAP Ghost, and all glitter staking. Do we need to move to a core prop for that?
I thought it had a core prop. Did it not?
I think it was a SIG prop. It passed.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make a core prop for that probably next week. I see there's 2 votes. Okay, yeah, there is. Okay, yeah. that there's 2 votes on Snapchat for some reason. We will, yeah, we'll get that made into a core prop. Cool. Well, I have to get off, guys, but yeah, went over a lot of stuff, and I think let's keep the conversation on Frens Glitter moving. If anyone wants to do any more analysis on it, that would be great. Feel free to like apply to the DTF for some funding if you have a solid plan of what you'd want to do. Otherwise, there's no deadline for it really, but it's something that needs to start happening if we're going to do that. So
yeah, it's a gradual movement.
Run the numbers and figure out what the kind of optimal conversion rate for glitter to raffle tickets is. And it seems like I think we're leaning towards not having the AMM for the tickets. It would be a one-way street, just like it is with Frens, because that just it incentivizes a little bit more market behavior, which is always interesting. And then the conversion rate, and then also the deprecation rate of Frens. When we launch this, how fast we want to start disincentivizing the Frens part. So a couple of decisions to make there.
Okay, good. Noted. We'll definitely focus on those points for like future discussions and ongoing discussions, and then once we kind of feel like we're at consensus, we can maybe work on some sort of a sig prop or with the exact details of what we're going to be doing.
All right, cool. Well, everyone have a great Sunday. Looking forward to next week, guys. It's gonna be big.
Oh yeah, I'll be putting out a thread. Actually, I'm working on right now. It's going to be a long thread on harvesters that I'll be putting out there. So
we're launching this thing in the depth of the bear market, so it is the timing is a bit strange, but I think it's also it is what it is. We're gonna everyone will have a nice head start when the bear market ends and the bull market begins again. Glitter would be interesting.
I've noticed the awareness around Aavegotchi. We're a little bit louder in the bear market because a lot of things have faded away. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and we got I was actually working with our designer today on V2 again, and we're I don't know if you guys heard, but one of our devs on the team had a kind of had a fall and is recovering. So that's V2 has been a little bit slower because of that. So everyone could have prayers for Candoizo, but he's recovering. I think he's getting better. But he's been out for a while, like past couple weeks, recovering. But we took that time to continue iterating on the design of V2, and it's really getting nice. We're gonna do a little bit more work on it, but we really want to start focusing on that initial experience that people get when they come to the site, like the onboarding, and really make that better and better. Because as everyone knows right now, like come on to Aavegotchi, like what the hell is this thing? So we really want to focus on that experience, and we're have a new UI designer that's come on, really great, helping a lot. So V2 is going to be lit, and it's going to really help the experience of getting people into Aavegotchi from that first moment.
Oh yeah, V2 looks clean. It's going to be as a very nice UI.
Yeah, that was the videos we made were the like before the UI, this new UI designer came on. So he's even taken that. It's even looking even better. So it's cool. It's going to be cool. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here. We're gonna really shine in this bear market. It's probably got another good 6 to 9 months on it. So strap in, and we're gonna amp up our shilling once V2 is alive and the harvesters are alive. Gameplay, we're gonna have Twitch. People will be fighting in the arena with their gotchis. It's going to be a lot of activity happening. Really, really pumped.
Yeah, we're about to turn the volume up. Someone even
Mhm.
suggested your Sergey's alt with the red plaid shirt, so I totally feel that vibe.
It's awesome. He doesn't have the sandals though.
Oh yeah, that's like your jam. That's like the knockoff Birkins with the red plaid shirt
Yeah.
and the saddle chair.
Yeah. Cool. I gotta head off.
Yeah.
Have a great Sunday, everyone. Yeah. See you on Wednesday. Is the next. We'll make an event here, an announcement in the chat soon. Wednesday will be an XP event. We'll make an announcement for that soon.
Ooh, yeah. Wednesday will be a big deal. That'll be exciting.
And XP will definitely be coming very soon. We were just working on the script today and run it. It's looking perfect. So should be able to drop that XP. One kind of blocker with it is that it's currently configured. We can only give out 500,000 XP every 24 hours with the account that we have. So we put that limit just in case the private keys got lost somehow, that no one could like go on a crazy XP bonanza. So there's 6 core props, 6 sig props. There's a lot of XP to give out, so it's probably going to be over like 2 or 3 days. But lots of XP will be coming out next week for sure.
You should check
All
out Times Birkenstock meme before you exit.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no. Thank you for hanging out with us, and
Birkenstock.
we'll see you on Wednesday.
Alrighty. Yep. Later, guys.
Later. Peace out, friends. See y'all on Wednesday.